Well, welcome back to another Wake Up Humans podcast. It's post Easter, our first podcast getting together since Easter, my man. And we got a lot to talk about, Dr. Drew Henderson.
We
How are you, brother?
Man, we do. I'm great. It was a great Monday in our office. I just love it. Mondays are long for me. Get up way early, finish way late, but Monday is my favorite day of the week.
Fun, isn't it?
It won't ever change, man. Won't
We're
ever
through it.
change.
We're going through a beautiful transition as a bunch of the snowbirds are heading back,
Hmm.
and we're now locking in. We're meeting about a bunch of locals, man. It was like we got a late day rush, like post school, coming from sports, and it was nice. We held the line and we had a great Monday. It wasn't like a big dip from what we've been doing, so it's all a sign of growth.
Yeah, and we're in spring break now. All the schools around us on spring break. Everybody's
Okay.
going to the beach. So it was like, what's going to happen? How's it going to be? Because we don't
Yeah.
we don't do appointments. Like, what's going to happen, man? And it was cranking today,
Awesome.
just
Awesome.
cranking. I love it.
We always do you and I do a pre-game text thread and then a little chat on what we want to talk about. And I just found myself talking a lot about adapting today and how chiropractic helps people adapt their nervous system and heal. We've had Tammy and Sierra and Dr. Christie went and attended a health fair last week and signed up about 12 new patients, which was awesome. And we had a couple people that are like, I've always been interested in chiropractic. There's nothing wrong with me. So we're going through their x-rays and you're seeing, just a punch of life in those spines that we just don't want to become a problem. And I said, we just got to get your nervous system adapting. And they're like, that makes perfect sense. I said, 'cause when it's not adapting, people end up on drugs and surgery. And they're like, well, I don't want that. That's a perfect reason to be under chiropractic care.
Yeah, cause what real health is adaptability. If we're not adapting, we can't be healthy. I get cold, I start shivering. My lips turn blue because my blood's shunted to my core.
Yeah,
That keeps our organs alive. We can lose a finger to frostbite. It's not going to kill us.
right.
I get hot, I start sweating. We get red and flushed in the face, and our body innate opens up those capillary beds, makes us
Yeah,
sweat.
yeah.
Through evaporation, we cool off. It's all adaptation.
There's so many different examples of adaptation you could think about. And I thought about that years ago in Connecticut when I'd have my kids go roll in the snow and then jump in the hot tub and see how many times they could do that and start thinking about what actually is a shiver. Like, why is the body shivering? And it's to push all the blood around the organs to keep you alive.
Yep, yep. Generates all that heat, man, and then
Yeah.
it's moving all that blood to the organs. Like,
How does the
look,
body know how to do that?
that's it. It was innate intelligence. It's inborn. A baby will
That's
do
right.
that. We don't have to think about
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Imagine that. We don't have to think to blink,
We don't have to think to blink.
right?
And what is a blink? Like, what is the reason to blink to get the crap out of your eyes?
Yeah, lubricate the eye, get the
Yeah.
crap out of it. It's
Yeah.
man. But when we adapt freely and rightly, that means that we're fully woken up,
That's right.
you
Wake up
know.
humans.
That's it. It's
Wake up
if you're
humans.
sleeping, if your nervous system's sleeping, you're not going to adapt the way God created you to.
No. And that's the subluxation, right? We've even gotten into arguments with each other about, is a subluxation good or bad? Remember those days?
Oh man, yeah.
You
I
know?
still get in some of those arguments.
Yeah. Which we could philosophically go all day long, but at the end of the day, you kind of throw your hands in the air and you're like, well, I'd just rather not be subluxated.
Yeah, that's the key. A subluxation's bad.
Yeah.
And I love, even like, we used to do this in school too. I'm sure y'all did. I would argue one point, but then the next week I may be arguing the opposite point.
Right?
It's yeah, subluxation's bad, but our innate intelligence made sure some of that happened. It's still adaptability,
Right. Right.
you know, still adaptability, and
Amazing.
life is it's not about avoiding stress.
No.
It's
Good
about
luck.
how good we adapt to it. One one thing that people get wrong, especially students, is that the three causes of subluxation is physical, chemical, and emotional stress. It's not those three things. It is the lack of adaptability to those three things.
Right.
It's the
Right.
lack of adaptability is the cause of subluxation.
That's right. That's right. It's when you're not adapting to those three things.
Yeah.
Well, that gets into, I was thinking about, universal constructive and destructive forces today, and it's spent a lot of time at the beach this weekend, and I've been working out a lot on the beach, and I've been staying out of the ocean because I've had a healthy fear of sharks. And 2 weeks ago, I said, screw that. I'm not. That's one of God's greatest gifts is that ocean. I'm going in there, and I've been swimming laps just about every day in there, and it's refreshing. But it's their home too. But it's like I can't live in that fear anymore.
No, be careful, bro. If you hear like the piano going, darn it, get out.
Well, that's what put it in my head is that damn movie Jaws, bro.
No. And then some manta ray or something, some little fish barely touches your leg, and you're just like, what was that?
Forget about it.
Yeah.
I'll
Even
jump.
seaweed.
I'll jump. I'll jump. But I was telling you before this, I'm currently right now, our rental property, the people moved out a month ago, and we're having some issues in our house. We had to move out today because they think they're finding mold, and we had a guy in there testing today. And my kids are never sick, man. They don't get stuff. If they do, it might be a sniffle or two for a day, but Kane's had this thing going on for about 3 months, this cough, and they were having some issues with the air conditioning. And Tammy went in the attic, and that's opened a can of worms, man. And we had guys in there testing today, remediators, and all these guys in the insurance companies like, you need to get out of that house right now. You may have a major mold problem.
Hmm.
And I'm like, son of a bitch. So you were asking me how the kids handling it. I'm like, they haven't complained, man. We're in this little home now with the three dogs, and they packed up some bags, and we'll figure this shit out.
Yeah, and like, can you imagine if y'all wouldn't under care, like how bad? Because I mean, Kane might have had a little cough for 3 months. Who knows what that's from? But we've
Yeah,
all seen people in our offices, and we know people outside of our offices that they have a little bit of mold in their house, and their whole life collapses.
dude, I got a couple patients in Connecticut that it's destroyed their life. One lady in particular hasn't been able to work in 4 years. She's going through lawsuits and everything, and she just started getting adjusted by us up there, and she's starting to do better. But mold could be a major problem. And especially if you're not adapting. If you're walking around subluxated, Houston, you got a problem.
Yeah, yeah, and um it's a blessing that y'all have been under care because, man, if you hadn't, like, your life could be turned upside down right now.
Well, you could have some really sick people too.
And that's the thing, like, you can take y'all in your house, you can take, family that just started up in Connecticut in their house, 2 people under the same stress, they have different outcomes.
Amen. Yeah.
Now, why is that? Because one had just now started getting vertebral subluxation correction, and except for you and Tammy, all the kids have had that since birth.
Yeah. Yeah. They've had it since they're 10 minutes old, man.
Yeah, and you've had it, and Tammy has for the last 35 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, water's a bitch, man. And people say, well, how did this all happen? We've had the hurricanes and things. We had the roof redone, and they did a really bad job on the roof, is what they're finding out. And our roof is sagging up there, and the fascia's pulled away, and it's just water that's been getting in. And like Bruce says, man, be like water. Water can adapt and spread and shift and expand and contract and heat up and cool up. That's a tough element there, bro.
It is. That water will it can save you, it can float your boat up, and it can drown you all at the same time.
This afternoon I always play some music in the office, and I got a big screen TV that I put all of Keith Wassong's videos on. I love those. But today I wanted to put on some nature this afternoon you go on YouTube and they got these nature things, and it was the
Mhm.
ocean. And it must have been 15-foot swells and waves crashing that their video was showing. And I'm like, my boat would not adapt to that. My boat would be swallowed up. And I mean, I've been out in 3, 4 foot swells here, and you got to know, you got to turn into them the right way, or you're being slammed around. And we got a 25-foot boat. I'm watching this thing out there, and they had this big cargo ship just plowing through it, man. The whole thing was underwater, just coming out. I'm like, that's like health. That's like life. You got to be ready to adapt.
Yep. Yeah, and that hull of that ship is is there's a lot of stress on that big cargo ship, but it can handle that. Your
Yeah,
25-foot trawler couldn't
right.
because it wasn't designed for that. We're
Not
designed
designed.
to handle stress, but
Right.
we're not designed to live with interference.
No. And that
You know, we're
stress will, I tell people all the time, it's like right now in the Northeast, all the ponds are melting, right? Kids have been ice skating all winter. Now it's getting warmer out. Who's going to be the last one trying to skate on that pond? Are you going to wait to the very end? Or you're gonna see what's happening here and get off of it? And that's help. You could not believe in taking care of yourself, not believe in chiropractic, not believe in subluxation. Okay. It's a matter of time before your life is melting. You're in trouble.
yeah, and spring is coming. You may be
Yeah.
skating right now, but spring is coming,
Spring is coming, baby.
you know?
Spring is
And
coming for
just
sure.
because you're functioning halfway okay, that doesn't mean you're living life at 100%. That doesn't mean you're thriving.
Exactly, exactly. We got a guy, he's getting ready to take a trip. He's doing a 7-week trip to Italy, him and his wife, and they're gonna be hiking and biking everywhere. And he got off the table after his adjustment. He said, "Man, I wish I knew about this my whole life." He said, "I could feel the difference already." He said, "I'm in tune with my body. I use my body." And he's a pretty vibrant, older guy. And he literally stood up from the table, was like, "I feel different."
And people that have been under principal chiropractic care, they know exactly what happened. But
Right.
if you don't know, it's not some big elaborate thing. It's finding where that subluxation is, correcting it with their hands,
Yep.
moving on.
That's it.
It's so simple. Like,
Very simple.
and we've all had the people that do this, and probably once a day, they're like, "Is that it? Is that it?" It's like, listen, it all counts. Get up.
Right.
You're better.
Right.
Then they get up, they're like, "I'm better. Yeah, I'm better. You
I've
didn't
got
even touch my
I've
knee."
got I've got the "That's it" poster on my wall, man. It's the picture of a spine, but the spine is actually the circuit breaker for, electrical box, a fuse
Mhm.
box. And I said, look, we go in there, we find all the lights go out in your house. You go down in your basement, you have no flashlight or anything. You could find your fuse box, feel what switches are out of alignment in the off position, click them on, and restore power to your house. I said, we're doing the same thing. That's the adjustment. And once your power is on, we're not doing anything else to that box. They're like, that makes perfect sense.
It does. It does. And it's so simple. That's what
Yep.
we do.
Yep.
You know, it's so simple, man. What I mean, I love that analogy. I'm gonna be using that from now on. Like, your lights are out. You go down there, you feel around, you find where the breaker is.
Power on.
I
That's
love
it.
that.
And if it's that mother load master switch, the one big one at the top there, that's your brain stem.
It is.
That's where the life changers have, man. I got a guy we're bringing to DE. He's coming to the Clearwater DE. He brought
Mhm.
it up to me last week. He came in today, said, I want to come. And I'm like, you come as my guest, man. He said they allow patient non-doctors there. I said, absolutely. So he's gonna come and join us, and it's gonna be pretty cool to have him there. After his first Atlas adjustment last week, my man, pretty awesome stuff. You'll have to meet this guy.
That's it. I can't wait. I know the first guy, I'm getting chills now. First guy, and you've been doing this with patients for years, decades. First one I met was Keith. Remember Keith?
Uh, Did you meet Tommy first?
Maybe it was Tommy first.
I think Tommy came first, and then we had Keith, and now we'll have this gentleman.
Yeah, I bet it was Tommy and his mom first. That's right.
Yeah, Tommy
Yep,
and
and then
Diane.
Keith. Yep. I met Keith in 2016 in, was that in New York, Connecticut? Where were we?
They came to Atlanta.
I mean, Keith.
Keith,
It was the first one that Rando helped us.
so it was probably Connecticut,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was 2016.
the
Then,
intensive.
man, that was in September, like September 12th.
There you go.
Uh,
Good you, man.
yeah, I was in the city for the 9/11 anniversary thing,
Okay.
the 15th anniversary. That's the only way, man. I can't keep up with these dates.
I was gonna
That's the
say,
only
how
way
the
I
heck
know.
did you remember that date? Usually I
Dude,
need
I'm
Eddie
not a
Martinez
woman.
for that.
I can't do it. I'm not a woman. I
Oh, be
guarantee you.
careful what you're saying there.
I guarantee you can ask any woman right now that's like 30 and older, "Hey, what is the date of the 4th Tuesday in October in 2031?" And they'll be like, 27th." Like, they just know. Like, I don't know how
Uh,
they figure that out.
they're freaking smart.
They are.
They got
They
to
are.
deal with
And
us all every day.
yeah, but everybody's got gifts, man. Everybody has a gift. That's not my
Mm,
gift.
no,
But I do know that each and every one of us were fearfully and wonderfully made.
amen.
As long as we don't have any interference, bro, we have the best chance to live a fulfilling, exceptional life.
Amen.
Not fragile, but adaptable.
Yep. It's facts. It's facts. And that's what this talk's all about, adapting, man. And I think anybody can look in their life and say, man, if I didn't adapt, I could have been in a lot of trouble at that moment in time. If I didn't adapt. And what people need to understand, and we always say, how's your atlas? If that atlas is clear, you have the best chance of adapting than anyone who's walking around subluxated, period.
Mhm.
Mentally and physically. Mentally and physically.
Yep. Yeah, and, we talk a lot, we talk some about it, about, like, biohacking stuff. That's cool. I wanna perform better, I wanna do better, but we don't need more hacks, we need less interference,
Right. Right.
you know?
Yeah.
That's what we need. We need less interference. We have less
Greatest life
interference.
hack
Yeah,
Greatest life hack in the world was discovered when D.D. Palmer laid his hands on Harvey Lillard over 130 years ago, September 18th, 1895.
yep,
And it's
with,
still going.
it is. And Harvey Lillard was a deaf janitor that D.D. Palmer's like, "Harvey!" I don't know, I just it's innate, I guess, because 'cause I'm thinking he can't hear, so DD's not like, "Hey, sir." He's like, "Harvey!" Like, "Come here. Why can't you hear?" You know? And he's like, I stooped over, I heard a pop in my neck, and I couldn't hear anymore. It's been that way for however many years. He palpated. He said, "Feels like something's out of place. Do you mind if I try to set it, rack it back in place?" He said, "I don't mind." He done that, what, 3 times over 2 days? And from the 6th floor of the Ryan Building, he could hear the horses on the cobblestone streets.
Hey, the son of a gun got his hearing back. Enough said.
Yeah. And then I would like to think on the 3rd day, Harvey tells Dr. D.D. Palmer, "Bro, you don't have to yell at me anymore." You know? He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
That's right. That's right.
But
It's a
it's
beautiful thing, man. It's a blessed existence to help people, discover this.
Mhm.
People have been asking me, how do you educate your people? How do you get them? How do you do? I said, you just got to help them discover it within themselves. When they discover it, they're never letting it go. That's the beauty. You're not adapting to stress of trying to build the practice. It just happens more naturally. And that's a beautiful thing.
it's just part of the mission that we're on.
Right. Right.
Like, I don't me and you both do not practice chiropractic.
Right.
We just live it.
It's a life.
Just live it. It's just what it is. It's who we are. It's what we
Yep.
do.
Yep.
New little couple that come in, he's from New York, she's from Miami. They met 25, 30 years ago. They're 75, 80 years old.
They live in Murrayville?
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, "How'd y'all meet?" They're like, "Oh, that's a long story, so we don't know yet." But, today she got up off the table. She like, "You know what I like?" They're 75, 80 years old. She's like, "You know what I like here?" Um, and well, she asked me about a TENS unit. She like, "What do you think about a TENS unit?" I'm like, "I don't ever think about a TENS unit. Like, I don't know how to use them. I don't really know what benefit they have. I don't know. I don't know." She like, "All
Right.
right, well, good, because somebody sold me one. I used it twice. I didn't like it." She said, "I really like how y'all don't sell anything in this office. You don't
Amen.
push anything down our throat. You don't you don't say that we need these vitamins, and then when I say I'm gonna get them at Walmart, you look sad." I'm like,
Right.
"No, we," and I told her, I said, "The only thing we do sell is you on yourself and your ability to heal.
Right.
That's the only thing
That's
we're
right.
selling."
And that doesn't make other things wrong. It's just not what we do. Go see them for that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yep. Yep, I take my DHEA and my whatever, vitamin C and my
Yep.
CoQ10. I take that
Yep.
stuff,
Yep.
you know? I'm not gonna sell it. I don't know, man. Go get it at Walmart.
I had a guy come in today and he brought me a list of his vitamins because he refuses to take drugs. I'm like, well, you're off to a great start. And I said, if your cell phone is not connected to the satellite, so your bars are really low and it's disconnected, what happens? He said, static. I said, if your atlas is subluxated and your brain has got static floating through it, how does your body know whether that vitamin is good or not? How does it know what that is and what to do with it? He said, that is a great point. And it made it relatable to him.
Yep.
You know, he's doing a great job by trying to put good things in his body. Now let's make sure the nervous system knows what the hell to do with it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We have to make it relatable. That's how you connect with them. The guy that works at Lockheed that builds airplanes and designs like the wingtips, he wants to know all the stuff about the way the facets are shaped and the way the condyles are not symmetrical. And
Fair
then maybe
enough.
that's why he's usually a right atlas. Like, he
Right.
wants to know all that stuff. The
Fair
guy
enough.
that drives the tractor trailer that hauls the chicken guts away is like, bro, you're jacked right side up.
That's it.
That's good. And
Got to
he's
make it
good with that.
relatable.
Yep,
That's it.
you
But
know?
listen, my man, we got what? I can't believe it's next week.
It's 9 days, man. 9 days from now, I'm gonna be
Holy
having
crap.
pollo manchego.
Polio Manchego, one of our favorite restaurants. What's the
Me
name of
too.
that restaurant? Let's give them a shout out.
The Columbia,
Colombia, one of Dr. Sid's favorite restaurants.
Dr. Sid and Dr. BJ Palmer, the one in Sarasota.
When do you
He has
get
his
in
own
town?
table in the corner.
When are you getting up here? When are you coming?
I'll be there. I think we land around 9 o'clock, 9:30. By the time we get there, it'll be 10:30. They open 11, so I'll be there.
So you'll be here Thursday morning at around 11?
Yeah, probably 10:30, 11.
Okay. All right. I gotta go. I
Yeah.
gotta pick up that merchandise, right? And then I'll shoot up
Yeah,
there
yeah,
and
we've got
I'll meet you.
T-shirts coming. New T-shirts,
Okay.
long sleeve,
Awesome.
great looking T-shirt.
So don't
Long sleeve
overpack. We'll
hoodie.
have some new shirts for you.
Yep. Yeah, you need
Yeah,
to
it's a
come
good
get
looking
them,
shirt.
and they're limited quantities. Get them
Yeah, we can.
early. Don't
Eat it
wait.
while you can.
Yep.
Well, I'll have mine first. I'm picking them
Wait.
up.
Yeah, you will.
Awesome. All right, brother. I love you. And we got to get our speaker talk put together for Monday night. That's upon us fast. So we got to
Yeah, we're gonna do
text
that a week
Katrina
from
and let
now.
her know.
Yep.
All right, my man. I love you and appreciate you. And I'll talk to you before long.
Yep. Love y'all.
God bless you.